longleaf pine forest. Tree with a white band signifies a red cockaded woodpecker, which is an endangered species living inside the tree. They'll make a hole and live inside only living pine trees. Here we have a much younger area of the forest. See the small longleaf pine? As small as these are several years old already. The root goes at least as deep, or probably further at this point than that little tree does. Longleaf pines have much deeper tap roots than the loblolly. Here are some of the cones of the longleaf pine tree. They're the largest in eastern North Carolina of the pines. These are closed up right now. There's a vicious dog. Closed up because it's a cold, wet day. When they dry out, they'll open up. A lot of people use these for home decorations. The soil here is very sandy. Notice the white sand. Very poor in nutrients. There aren't very many plant species that can survive in this, but those that do can't survive anywhere else. This is the cone of a different kind of pine tree. This is called a pond pine. And there aren't as many pond pines as there are longleaf and loblolly, but they're an important part of the ecosystem as well. You'll notice that a lot of the pine tree, the trunks are black. That's because the Forest Service does prescribed burns. These burns burn away the undergrowth and allow the grass to grow, allows new pine cones to throw out their seeds. The thick bark of the longleaf pine protects it from the fires. The days that the Forest Service does the controlled burns, you might see a thick cloud of smoke on the horizon. They pick days that aren't very windy, that have high moisture content in the air, because they don't want the fire to get out of control. Most of the time when you see a forest such as this that's opened up and it has the black marks on the trunks, that signifies that burning has taken place for the health of the forest. This is an example of a place where a burn has not taken place. Notice the pine trees in the background. Those are not longleaf pine trees. And notice all this undergrowth. If a burn had taken place along this stretch of road, the longleaf pine would be able to grow. And most of the lands around here at one time were native to only the longleaf pine forest. Notice these trees. How straight each of them are. The rows. These have actually been planted to grow in rows like this. Another good example of some of the poor sandy soil we have here. It's thought that some of this sand was once part of a seafloor, that the oceans were higher in this particular area. Common type of lichen that grows. Thirsty dog. The runoff from the rain gouged some pretty deep trenches in this section of the road. We're at Patsy Pond Wildlife Refuge. This is Bob's Sinkhole. A sinkhole is a formation where the limestone that's in the ground has collapsed and caused a hole. Water fills in the hole. Some sinkholes can be small, like this one, or large, like sometimes ones that we hear about on the news. The Croatan National Forest is filled with landforms called precosins. Precosins is an Indian term for swamp on a hill. Now, some of the hills are difficult to see because the land is very much relatively flat. But if you find swampy areas that are in an area that's slightly elevated, this would be classified as a precosin. This is a turkey oak, called a turkey oak because of the shape of the leaf, resembling a turkey foot. Turkey oaks are of the red oak family. They're an important part of the food source for deer, squirrel, and wild turkeys. This is yucca. It's a non-native plant of eastern North Carolina, so we classify it as an invasive species. It doesn't, though, pose a significant threat for the ecosystem, and we see them growing up in different parts of the Croatan. Wetlands are an important part of the Croatan. Not only are they used by all land animals, but also migratory birds, turtles, and other amphibians and reptiles. I'm inside a hole where a longleaf pine tree has grown and then gotten about this big around, and then the tree has died. The tap roots are so big and so deep that they make a significant hole in the ground when the root and the trunk finally rot away. Right now I'm standing very precariously because I don't know, this tree root could go down several more feet. So I'm here ready to catch myself. Not recommended you try this at home, just wanted to show the depth of where these tree roots go. Here's the longleaf pine cone when it's opened up. You can see the size of it. One of the largest here in eastern North Carolina. Not all the ponds in the Croatan are natural. Some ponds are man-made, such as this one. This pond, the soil from this, the sand, was used to cap off the old Carteret County landfill. It's right on the other side of those trees, and here in a minute we're going to go over there. I've nicknamed the hill that is the old landfill Mount Newport. You can see it just right over that tree line. It's the best kept secret of Carteret County for anybody who wants to see at least a hill covered in grass. Let's go there next. We're now at the top of Mount Newport looking down, looking back over in the direction of the pond. You can see we're right at treetop level. And I think the tired dog is ready to go run back.